Okay, folks, welcome back. I had a short conversation with a friend, and it made me want to do hopefully a kind of quick video on these two topics here. So I want to address something real quick to hopefully clarify something that a lot of people misunderstand. It's 2 points. One is the term sons of God in the Old and New Testament, and that they mean something different. And the fact that people seem to think, don't know why, that the God of the Old Testament is different than the God of the New, which couldn't be further from the truth. So, on the first topic, sons of God, in Genesis 6, we have a term or a verse that says the sons of God saw the daughters of women, that they were fair, and they came down and bore children with them. And these children were giants. Well, I know there's a Sethite view, or the Sethite view, where they say the sons of God are the Sethite line, and the daughters of Cain, and somehow these two humans got together and bore giants. Well, if that was the case, folks, we'd still be seeing giants walk around today, and we don't. So this can't be the way it's being stated. And if you look at every time it's stated in the Old Testament, the term sons of God, Psalm 82 is a big example of this. It is referring to angels, whether good angels, fallen angels, or good angels. Sons of God in the Old Testament, and you can go and source this and resource this and check back and forth, however you want to do it. And I really hope that many of you do, because you'll really see and understand what I'm getting at here. The sons of God in the Old Testament refers to angels, every one of them. So please keep that in mind when reading the Old Testament, that sons of God is not talking about mortal men. It's not talking about the Sethites or the Canaanites or anything like that. Well, in a sense it's talking about the Canaanites, but it's talking about angels, spiritual beings. In the New Testament, the term changes, and you can verify this by referencing the terms and how it's used. But sons of God in the New Testament is now referring to man, the followers of Christ, God's people. So when you're reading, and a lot of people, and this goes hand in hand with the next topic of God changing from the Old Testament to the New, folks, and I should have looked it up, but I'm driving. Hopefully that didn't just kill my video. But the term, or the thought that God changes is irrelevant. It states, and I need to find it, but and if you read the Bible, you know this. God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He's never changing. Never, not ever. He doesn't change. He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. People seem to claim that God was a hateful God. He was a tyrant God because of what he had Joshua do and the Israelites do when they were coming into the promised land. But you need to understand that this relates to the sons of God, because the Canaanites, the Hittites, all the ites, most of the ites, everybody in the promised land, they were descendants of the sons of God mixing with the daughters of man. They were a Nephilim mix, and over time they became less and less massive giants. It was, the ones wiped out by the flood, those were the first generations. They were the real divine type. After the flood, it was less of the divinity in them. They were still giants. I mean, you had Og, King Og, his bed described being huge and massive, made of iron to hold his weight. This was not an orgy bed, folks. This is for one man. These were giant clans. These were Nephilim clans. This is why God said to wipe out every man, woman, and child and beast of the field, because they were doing hybridization. They were mixing genes. They were playing with, they were trying to be God. They're doing like what we're doing today. in the days of Noah, so it'll be again the coming of the Son of Man. Hello, folks. The warning is right there. They're doing today, with all this CRISPR-Cas9 and gene technology, manipulation of genes, they're doing today what they were doing of old. This way, another reason why Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed. If you really look into the history of Sodom and Gomorrah, it was more than just a evil sodomite town. It was also a massive hub for these mixing of genes. So this is why God destroyed it, to never be inhabited again. God was not some evil tyrant back then. He was the same loving God. It even says it in Genesis. He's a loving God. He's a caring God. He's a jealous God. He's the same God in the New Testament. He just shows because he's getting his word out, making his new covenant after the Israelites failed and the word went out to the Gentiles, because God has his people. And his people, his word was written on his heart, on our hearts. And it is, for us, not us actually, but we were chosen by God to follow him, to worship and love him. He just made a new covenant, kind of like he did with David and the different kings. It was a new covenant because the old way wasn't working. So when you think of God being different in the Old Testament and in reference to the New, no, God is the same. He was spreading his word out to others to gather his flock. That's all it is. The old God, the Old Testament is just showing the power of God, what he does and can do. He was pulling his people out of Egypt in captivity, bringing them over because they had a purpose. They had a few purposes, folks. This was a covenant. Their purpose was, one, to bring about Jesus. That's why it was that line of Seth, to bring about Jesus and his covenant with Abraham, his seed. But the seed is actually God's seed, Jesus. They had to wipe out this bloodline, this evil that was created with the fallen angels of Genesis 6. And that was what Joshua was tasked with doing. David cleaned it up because Joshua failed. Joshua allowed, I can't remember her name, but when they spent spies into the town, this lady, I can't remember her name, dang it, but she hid the Israelites, and then she said, please, when you come, don't wipe me and my family out. So they allowed her to live. That's not what God said. He said to wipe out every man, woman, and child. Joshua also allowed the Israelites to marry and to have children with these people, mixing bloodlines. So this was the failure of the covenant that God decreed. So David had to go in and finish wiping out the remnants of these tribes, and that's what he did, but still not fully. And this is why we are where we're at today, folks. This all, if you go back into time and you trace these lineages, and I'm not real big about the bloodline of the Satan seed bloodline and everything like that, but there is evil out there, as we all know, and we live in a very spiritual world. Of course, that veil was split because thousands of years ago, if you look at historian books, Josephus, Tacitus, all these things, these mythological gods from Greece and Rome and all these different empires, these were real gods, folks. Gods, lower G, okay? These were fallen angels worshipped as gods. If you look at their worship system, they were all the same. They were all Babylonian in nature. This is why the whole Daniel statue, it's one statue, but it's all the same system, all based off Babylon and their worship of the fallen angels. This is what it all comes down to. And then God making his covenant with Abram to bring about Jesus, to give us redemption and salvation through Jesus, to pay for all the sins, because the Israelites didn't do what they were supposed to. A lot of things would be different if they did what they were supposed to. But God already knew this was going to happen, and that's why he had a plan. And, well, Satan didn't know this plan. Fallen angels didn't know this plan. And that's why they all failed in what they tried to do. And of course, they're doing what they're doing because God allows it. He decrees everything. Nothing happens without him knowing. So that's one thing to keep in mind. This is all to show God's glory. All to show that by believing and following God, that he can do anything and everything. He allows everything to happen for us to see his power, his glory, and to know that when his time comes and Jesus comes back, death, because man wasn't designed, we weren't created to die. Remember, they ate from the tree of life. We weren't designed to die. But when they took of the fruit, that changed. Satan got his death. Satan got his way. Satan will be worshipped for a short while, and then Jesus will come back. And folks, it's coming a lot sooner than most realize. So just back to the whole points of things. I got a little offline there, but God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He's never changing. His plan, his everything that's going on is all unfolded already. He already knows the end. Remember, the first and the last, the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. He knows it all. His plans coming to fruition. We're coming to the end of this great decree, and Satan already knows he's lost. He knew that at the cross 2,000 years ago, folks. He knew, but this is why he's doing what he's doing, because he knows his time is getting real short, and he's turning up the heat. But we haven't seen the worst of it yet. It's coming though, and it's coming soon. So please understand the words of the Bible, that yes, the old covenant and the new covenant have different meanings about different things, but God is the same throughout. He was just doing different things, using people as he does to lay out to go through his big plan. But it's all for his glory. Remember, everything is for his glory, and we're glorified through him. We keep that in mind. We follow his morals, his laws, but we believe in Jesus and the fact that he died for us. And we're going to be all right, folks. Stay true to the end, no matter what. No matter what anybody says or tells you, stay true to the end and just believe that God will see you through, because he will. Because he's chosen you. He has chosen you. It's not the other way around, folks. God chose his own people. Just like he chose the Israelites, he chose Abraham. He chose everybody to do certain things. This really shows the whole predestination, and I plan on getting on that, some other time. But everything is chosen through God. Yes, do we have some kind of free will? We do. But free will to choose our faith in God? No. He chooses those he's going to save. And he's already done it long ago. So be thankful for that. Love him for that, and give him glory for that. I really hope this edified a little bit, or some people, helps you guys understand when you're looking at things in the Bible, and really clarifies some things, especially the sons of God statement, because that's very important when reading the Old and the New Testament, to know and understand the difference between the two. So if you're in the New Testament and you're seeing sons of God, it is about the mankind, us, the followers and believers of Jesus. That's the sons of God it's talking about. The sons of God in the old, that's fallen angels and angels in general. So I hope this helps. Please keep reading in that book. Keep increasing your understanding of it, and always glorify God in all, and keep that faith in Jesus. Love you all. God bless.